Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening. Millions of Americans will be gathering for New Year's Eve celebrations tonight, just as the Omicron variant tears across the U.S. Charles Watson has more from Atlanta.
Omicron is accelerating, the U.S. hitting another grim milestone on Thursday, 500,000 new cases, with the daily average now well above 300,000. But there's good news on the containment front. New CDC research shows few problems among kids aged 5 to 11 who got the Pfizer vaccine, and nearly all the children who became seriously ill last summer were not fully vaccinated. As vaccination rates increase, the focus at this point remains on testing, with big shortages still being reported across the country.
If you're infected, it's a milder virus, Omicron. Because they don't have the rapid tests, they can't test you and say, okay, now you're clear, go back to work.
The new variant also taking a big toll on air travel. More than 1,000 flights canceled in the U.S. on Thursday for the 7th straight day. Airlines are blaming staffing shortages due to COVID infections and exposures.
Coming into the airport, there's just, I think, a lot of shortage of staff. So we stood in line for quite a bit.
And health officials are expecting even more cases next week as millions gather to ring in the new year. Some folks have canceled or adjusted their plans, but others say this is the perfect time to celebrate.
I know it hasn't been great for everybody, but we were very fortunate this year, and it was a good year. And we have each other, so it doesn't get any better than that.
The push for boosters continues as well. The FDA reportedly expected to authorize a third Pfizer dose for 12 to 15-year-olds as early as next week. In Atlanta, Charles Watson, Fox News.
As the year comes to an end, New Yorkers are preparing to safely ring in 2022 in Times Square. Tonight, a promise from the nation's largest police department that there will be plenty of police officers in Times Square, keeping a close eye on the only 15,000 revelers allowed in this year, down from the usual 58,000. Safety is always a top priority, but this year, police say health becomes just as important.
You're going to wear a mask, and that's the expectation for everyone.
Anyone who is planning on attending tonight's celebration must also be fully vaccinated before entering Times Square. People will have to go through vaccine checking stations before passing through one of 8 counterterrorism checkpoints. And if your plans are to ring in the new year from the comfort of home, you can catch live coverage of tonight's iconic ball drop from Times Square. We'll be showing the celebration on our social media pages and website. And not just the countdown and ball drop to welcome 2022 at the stroke of midnight. You can also watch the preparations for the many festivities leading up to the big moment. Visit our Facebook page at Big Fox Television for live updates. When the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Eve, Republicans will begin their march to winning majorities in Congress in hopes of defeating the Biden agenda. And Democrats hope a potential end of the pandemic and economic turnaround will prevent a GOP takeover. Lucas Tomlinson has more from Washington.
It's almost 2022 and the coming midterm elections, the Super Bowl of politics. History says midterm elections are generally not friendly to the president's party. The vice president not sounding optimistic about the months ahead.
Do you feel that what becomes possible is just going to dramatically change after 2022, since Republicans, many project, will be taking the majority?
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
In 2010, 2 years after President Obama was elected, Democrats took a beating, losing 6 seats in the Senate and 63 in the House. Republicans gained 6 gubernatorial seats. Democrats lost control of nearly a dozen state legislatures months after the Affordable Care Act, known as Obamacare, signed into law. To flip the House, the GOP needs to gain just 5 seats.
I like our momentum.
Democrats now finding themselves on the defensive, facing attacks on President Biden's handling of the pandemic, rising crime, and inflation, reflected in the president's sagging poll numbers.
We went from stable prices to now record inflation. We went from strength and projecting strength around the world to the debacle that was the exit in Afghanistan. So you name the policy, they've screwed it up.
And one of the big unknowns in the coming year, Donald Trump. Will Republicans embrace the former president or keep their distance? And will he run for president again? In Washington, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Beloved actress and comedian Betty White has died. TMZ is reporting White died at her home today. She was 99 and just weeks shy of her 100th birthday. White had one of the longest-running careers on television for any woman entertainer and starred or appeared in multiple shows spanning the last 80 years. One of her most iconic roles was that of Rose on the 80s sitcom The Golden Girls. Fires continue to smolder after the wildfire dubbed the Marshall Fire tore through parts of Boulder County, Colorado. The fire is being blamed for damaging or destroying hundreds of homes, businesses, and other structures. Officials say the wildfire, fueled by strong winds and dry conditions, began shortly after 10:30 Thursday morning. Thousands of people in the town of Louisville, Superior, and parts of Broomfield were forced to evacuate. Some of the evacuation orders are still in effect today due to danger from smoke and fire. The Federal Aviation Administration is warning travelers of possible upcoming delays, officials confirming weather and staffing issues will impact travel in the days ahead. A spokesperson for the FAA says, like the rest of the U.S. population, an increased number of FAA employees have tested positive for COVID-19, and traffic volume at some facilities could be reduced to maintain safety. Still ahead tonight, popular social media app TikTok is at the center of new controversy.
That she needed to plug a cell phone charger partway into the plug and then touch the prongs with a penny.
Why parents and critics argue different trends on the platform are becoming detrimental to children's mental and physical health.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. As we begin to ring in the new year, we are expecting a lot of cloud cover by midnight. Temperature readings will be around 43 degrees. We are expecting temperatures to trend upward for the overnight hours, so it is going to be a warmer start to your Saturday. Readings mainly in the mid to upper 40s. We are expecting a little bit of fog and a few showers as well. Throughout the day, I think the morning will be a little bit warmer than the afternoon. In fact, we'll be about 15 to 20 degrees above normal, and then those temperatures will plunge as a system comes in. A cold front will drive through our area. Rain will be likely on Saturday, and then that will be switching over to snow later on Sunday as Arctic air moves in. So a few isolated showers for your morning coffee, and then in the afternoon, we have a low pressure system moving in from the central part of the country to the northeast. There could be a few thunderstorms possible in the southern tier of our viewing area. For tomorrow, temperatures again will be warmer in the morning, 54 degrees by noon. That's going to be a high, and then those temperatures will dip down in the afternoon. By early next week, our Arctic blast will already be in place. In fact, we are expecting temperatures to be below normal, but ahead of that cold front, we are expecting to stay warm. There will be a few showers for tonight as well as during the day tomorrow. At 7 o'clock in the morning, a lot of cloud cover, and then our rain chances will start to increase in the afternoon. There will be some periods of heavy rain for your Saturday as well, and then colder air moves in early on Sunday. There could be a wintry mix early in the day for Steuben County, but then as we head into the afternoon, as colder air sinks in, we are expecting that precipitation to change over to snow. Here's a look at your forecast tonight. Lows will be in the low 40s with a lot of cloud cover with a few showers possible. Highs tomorrow will be reached right around the lunchtime, and so we are going to be in the mid 50s. And then your 7-day forecast features much colder air again on Sunday. Our warmest time of the day will be in the morning, and then those temperatures will plunge in the afternoon. Our high around 39 degrees. So I think the precipitation in the morning will be rain, but we'll switch over to snow. Overnight lows in the teens. below freezing through Monday with a high around 26 degrees, but we do gradually warm up into the 40s on Wednesday. Increasing cloud cover as another storm system approaches by the middle of the week. Snow will return by the end of the week along with colder air. So on Thursday, look for highs around 37 degrees. We dive back down into the 20s on Friday, and there are indications there could be more snow over the weekend.
The popular social media app TikTok is at the center of a new controversy tonight, as parents and critics say that some of the trends on the app are becoming harmful to children's mental and physical health. Mark Meredith has more.
Currently, it's 36 degrees.
Amazon's smart speaker can do a lot, but Kristen Livedall never thought it would encourage her 10-year-old daughter to play with electrical outlets.
It was a simple challenge, and that she needed to plug a cell phone charger partway into the plug and then touch the prongs with a penny. And when I heard that, I was like, no, Alexa, no. And
luckily, her daughter did not get hurt. Amazon says it's since removed the challenge and is, quote, taking steps to help prevent something similar from happening again.
You may have heard of the TikTok experiment.
The whole thing appears to stem from a trend which went viral on TikTok. The social media app, which boasts 1 billion monthly users, is owned by Chinese-based ByteDance. The company is facing a barrage of bad headlines. Lawmakers have called for the app to be banned while warning about potential privacy problems.
Yet most Americans have absolutely no idea that the Chinese Communist Party is getting their information.
This month, a former TikTok moderator filed a lawsuit against the company, alleging moderators are required to watch hours of animal abuse, violence, and sexual content without proper health safeguards in place. TikTok is not commenting on the specific case, but in a statement to Fox writes, quote, "We continue to expand on a range of wellness services so that moderators feel supported mentally and emotionally." The controversy comes as the Wall Street Journal reports a growing number of teens are self-diagnosing themselves with mental disorders because of videos viewed on TikTok. Child safety experts say it's a clear warning for parents.
They should know what their kids are posting. They should have access to who's viewing what their kids and who's also reacting to what their kids are posting.
Just this month, TikTok announced new efforts to ensure users don't see too many videos which may reinforce negative personal experiences like extreme dieting or sadness, but it's unclear if those changes are working so far.
A mother is giving hope to autistic children and their parents through her foundation and granola recipes. Lauren Green explains.
I put a bunch of ingredients into a mixer and we're going to make our famous mocha granola.
It's a simple granola recipe, but these workers are extraordinary.
And I'm sealing the bags that go in the box and they go to people who want them.
And it sounds like a Cinderella story. Wow, you're doing so great. But the fact is that we didn't do this to develop a granola sweatshop.
Dr. Lisa Liberatori is the founder and creator of Love Michael, a granola company dedicated to employing, educating, and training autistic adults. The commercial kitchen in the heart of New York's trendy Tribeca neighborhood is a testament to her devotion to her son Michael, who was born with autism.
One of the challenges we see is how does a person who's on the spectrum have an opportunity to live an independent life beyond the lives of the parents.
When Michael was a teenager, he and Lisa volunteered in their Southampton Greek Orthodox Church kitchen. That's when she discovered Michael had incredible skills preparing foods.
She said, "Lisa, we did in one day what would normally take us 3 days."
She hired a chef to teach Michael to do prep work in their home, as if in a real professional kitchen. Eventually, they made granola, then began selling granola. And that grew to a nonprofit granola business with sales to Starbucks and major grocery stores.
So we all know what a rolling pin is?
The church's kitchen is now the cooking classroom, as well as a school teaching basic social skills.
Okay, Eric, you want to read the next part?
The church is helping build a network of homes for autistic adults to live independently and build friendships. It's transformed the entire community.
They have helped the members of this church family learn how to give those spiritual gifts of love, of acceptance, of forgiveness.
The hope that Love Michael is bringing this holiday season is twofold. It's preparing those with autism to work in the world, and it's also preparing the world to welcome them.
Americans are on track to end the year with more than $70 billion in credit card debt after spending more than they actually had this holiday season. Jeff Flock is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania with more on this holiday hangover.
Strolling through the Park City Mall here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It was a good Christmas here and at other malls around the country, but the problem is a lot of us went into debt in order to make that happen. Take a look at the numbers from Wallet Hub. They say this year 36% of Americans went into debt to finance Christmas. That compares to just 31% a year ago. Fortunately, the debt was a little bit smaller, about $1,200 plus this year compared to $1,300 plus last year. But a lot of us did it in a new way, something called BNPL, something called Buy Now, Pay Later. These are firms that allow you to get the item that you want up front and then pay for it over time. Not a credit card, but they just basically spiel out your payments over time. A number of these firms are now under investigation by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They include Affirm, Afterpay, the Swedish firm Klarna, as well as Zip and PayPal. Retailers, of course, like the concept because it enables people to have something sooner than they otherwise would and get paid, and the retailers get paid up front. We talked to the founders of Ledbury, the noted shirt makers. Here's what they said.
I think it is helpful for some people that are maybe making like larger purchases. If they're coming to Ledbury and they're rekitting out their wardrobe for the year, maybe they wouldn't buy 6 or 7 shirts all at once, but with the sort of the option of buy now, pay later, they might do that.
Some pressure on retailers, though, in the form of those dreaded returns. A lot of retailers extended the period of time in which consumers could return their purchases. For example, the folks at Nordstrom Rack, 45 days, Nike extended it to 60 days, and Macy's, Walmart, and Saks up to 90 days. Unfortunately, the number of returns is predicted to be an all-time record this year, perhaps as high as $114 billion. That is an increase in the number of returns by between 24 to 27%. So, good news and bad news at Christmas.
After you're done with reining in the new year, here are some tips to help you keep any financial resolutions you might have. Number 1, start out January with a 21-day freeze on major spending. Number 2, set some money aside in savings, but know why, and be specific on dollar amounts. And number 3, monitor any spending that's greater than $100. In Arizona, fully autonomous semi-trucks have taken the road. The technology has successfully traveled between Phoenix and Tucson without a driver. Stephanie Bennett has more.
We're approaching, we have a target front commercial vehicle.
First it was driverless cars, but now we're upgrading to driverless semi-trucks, just in time as the country is facing a severe truck driver shortage.
We're using more and more on-demand economy, e-commerce, and so we need more things delivered to us faster. And so that's really creating a long-term problem, and that is the goal that we hope to solve with our autonomous technology.
The semi-truck completed the 80-mile route with no human on board using technology developed by TuSimple.
If you can make autonomous trucks self-driving, then you're creating new freight capacity, and we're solving this demand-supply problem. And
the trip started at a rail yard in Tucson and ended at a distribution center in Phoenix. To ensure safety, a lead vehicle scouted the route about 5 miles ahead of the truck for unexpected obstacles, and a vehicle trailed behind and was prepared to intervene if necessary, along with several unmarked police vehicles.
It didn't interfere with traffic, right? We don't want this to be a test tube kind of test. We want this to be a real open road driving experience.
All in all, the truck successfully navigated the interstate, used traffic signals, made lane changes, and used on and off ramps. The company TuSimple says this will soon become the new normal, possibly having them ready to use by 2024.
We have today about close to 7,000 autonomous truck reservations from very large customers. And the most recent one we announced was with DHL, which of course is a very global logistics player.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. A prodigy from California earns his bachelor's degree at the age of 15. Jack Rico just earned his degree in history from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and the teen earned a 3.78 grade point average. Before college, his mom homeschooled him for 4 years. However, she says there wasn't a lot of information she could give him that he didn't already know. After taking placement tests, he enrolled in college, and in 2 years, he earned 4 associate's degrees. Last June, he began college classes at UNLV and graduated this month. Sounds like a future Jeopardy champion to me. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. Have a safe weekend.